My name is Benjamin Rogers, and I shot the Riverwalk and the New York Central Railroad Museum. The reason I chose the Railroad Museum is that I have great memories of going there when I was younger. I remember when I was 4 or 5, I was really into railroads. It was great that there was an actual railroad museum just a few minutes from where we lived. And it was also the New York Central Railroad, which was one of the biggest railroads in American history. So I have fond memories of that place, and it's a great piece of Elkhart. The thing that always struck me most about the railroads was the history involved, the people involved with it, the things that went into building the industry was always of interest to me. I especially like the more the early period, probably from the early 1800s to 1940s, more so than the modern stuff, but I do enjoy all the history. What fascinated me the most about the Railroad Museum is some of the equipment they have there. They have one of the last remaining Mohawk steam locomotives in existence that was from the New York Central Railroad. They have an electric locomotive that is a very rare find, and they have the diesel locomotive that is the last locomotive to take the 20th century limited train east. And they have a great amount of different things from the period, everything from gauges from locomotives to handbills, and they have a lot of stuff at the museum that a lot of people don't know about. I definitely felt like a kid in a candy store in the museum. Going through it, every time you see something new, they either bring something new out, open up a new section, or you just see something you didn't see before. So it's always a great experience going through the museum. They do have a miniature railroad. I do believe it's a 2-foot gauge model train that's rideable. They bring that out on certain days of the week. They say that everyone really enjoys that. They have a lot of exhibits inside the Railroad Museum that if you just drove by, you wouldn't know were in there. They have a lot of almost relics from some of the early days of railroading, and off to the side they have a massive railroad model train layout that is a really neat addition. I remember when that opened, I was there the first day it opened, and they've expanded it since then and added new things to it, and it's a great part of the museum. I also did the Riverwalk. That was a great project. I actually hadn't been through a lot of it before, so it was a new experience. It allowed me to see some more of Elkhart that I hadn't seen before. I was very surprised at how well it was put together. Where I started, it was right by the NIPCO Water and Ice Park, which of course is a great addition to Elkhart. It's kind of a splash pad in the summer and warmer months, and then it turns into a ice park during the winter. There's like a path that people can walk. It's right adjacent to the regular paths. I found a lot of the river. There's walking paths on both sides that lead around. There's bridges, and it's a really great place to go for a walk or something like that. The Riverwalk really is a great asset to the community. It allows a place for people to walk, enjoy nature, enjoy the downtown area in a great way. It's a really great addition. Some of the things I value in myself and the community are really embodied in the area. I like a smaller town, someplace that there isn't a lot of a rush, but I don't like one that's too small where there's nothing to do. And this area in Elkhart really has a lot of that. There's the jazz festival, there's theaters, there's restaurants, there's a lot of stuff to do within a nice atmosphere that isn't so hustle and bustle compared to larger cities. We have good schools here. We have good governments that are fairly responsive to the people, where you can actually go to the city council meetings. It's a great atmosphere to live in. Well, I was raised here in the Elkhart County community. It's always been my home. I've seen a lot of people want to leave the area. For me, I'd like to stick around in the future and see what happens in this area. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and I look forward to seeing what happens.